Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. Apologies for the helmet here. I've been riding a bicycle all day, wearing a helmet. So this is the Poco X5 Pro. I've been using it for the past 2 weeks, and this is yet again another high value device from a brand known for punching way above its price class. Now I don't know the official price of this phone yet, but I do know that going by past history, there's a high probability that this will launch in Europe for around 300 euro, maybe 310 euro. So that converts to around 320 to 350 US dollars. And that's in the West. If you buy this phone in Asia, like in India, Singapore, Malaysia, you can probably get it for a little bit under 300 US dollars. And again, at this price, you're getting a lot, and this phone punches way above that price range. But at the same time, the Poco X5 Pro doesn't bring a lot new. If you own the X4 Pro, you definitely don't need to buy the X5 Pro. There are really only two improvements from the X5 Pro over the X4 Pro. The first is the chipset. It's newer. This is a Snapdragon 778 5G chip, 6 nanometer, and it was a flagship chip just like 2-3 years ago. So even in 2023 right now, still a very capable chip. But again, it's not like the Poco X4 chip, the Snapdragon 695 was that inferior. That chip also performs pretty well. The second upgrade is this phone dropped a lot of weight. The Poco X4 Pro weighed 205 grams. This phone weighs 181 grams, so it shed 24 grams in weight. You do notice it. This does feel like a lightweight phone, but at the same time, I thought the Poco X4 Pro was a very comfortable phone to hold. I didn't think that phone was too heavy. This phone's also a little bit thinner at 7.9 millimeter compared to 8.1 from before. Everything else about this phone is almost identical to the X4 Pro. You still have the same 6.7-inch OLED display, refresh rate up to 120 Hz. It's a really fluid panel. Maximum brightness of around 900 nits, so you can see it outdoors under direct sunlight like I can see it right now, but it's definitely not as bright as a Galaxy S22 Ultra screen or a Xiaomi 12S Ultra screen. So, not a $1,000 flagship level screen, but this is still a really good looking panel. You also have excellent haptics that are, I want to say, almost flagship quality. Stereo speakers. Headphone jack, and a 5,000 mAh battery that can be fast charged at 67 watt, and the charger is included with the packaging. You also have a 108 megapixel main camera with an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a useless 2 megapixel macro sensor. Around the front, you have a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So all these components are pretty impressive for a $300 something phone. There's a fingerprint sensor on the right side of the device embedded into the power button. I'm a fan of this yellow power button. It's a nice contrast from the black matte sides, and the fingerprint sensor is very fast and responsive. Now, there are a couple of downgrades from last year, unfortunately. The first is this phone loses the IP56 water resistance rating from last year, and also there's no longer expandable memory. So you just have to deal with the 128 or 256 gigs of internal storage in here. Now, I took this phone out and about for a couple of days around Los Angeles already. I'm really impressed by video stabilization, particularly considering that this is a $300 phone. Check out stabilization and the audio quality from the internal mic. So you're watching footage shot with the main camera of the Poco X5 Pro. Okay, now you're watching ultra-wide footage with that 8 megapixel camera. Now, unfortunately, in the middle of filming, you cannot switch from the main camera to the ultra-wide. So that means you have to stop the footage and then restart the clip if you want to shoot with the ultra-wide. But I also think the ultra-wide camera does a pretty good job during the day. But this is only an 8 megapixel shooter, so that means at night, photos and videos will suffer. But I'm quite impressed by the main camera performance, despite the fact that this sensor here, the 108 megapixel sensor, is several years old now. And the image sensor size at 1/1.52 inch, it's not the largest around. In fact, it's kind of small by 2023 standards. But Xiaomi has fine-tuned software, the ISP, image signal processor, to handle image processing a little bit better. And I think the video stabilization is definitely improved, and photo quality in terms of dynamic range looks quite good too, even when I'm shooting it against harsh backlight. Battery life has been tremendous, obviously, at 5,000 mAh battery. This is a phone that can last you 14-15 hours out all day and still finish with like 25% battery life left. And with a 67 watt charger, you just need to plug this thing in for 25 minutes and you can top off from 0 to like 85-90% really easily. So overall, the Poco X5 Pro is, I have to be honest, it's you know, it doesn't break any new grounds. It doesn't really revolutionize anything that the Poco X3 or X4 or other competing devices from Realme aren't already doing. But at the same time, if you're on the market for a new phone and you don't want to pay more than $300, this ticks a lot of boxes and gives you a lot more power than what you would get from a OnePlus Nord or a Motorola device, for example, and definitely better than an equivalent Samsung device too. And I think that's a Poco strategy. It's aiming to consistently undercut the bigger name brands by giving you more processing power, better cameras, better screen at the same price. You do lose stuff like IP rating, wireless charging, and I guess expandable storage. So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons. So anyway, that's about it for this review of the Poco X5 Pro. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I have a lot more content coming out. February is going to be a crazy busy month. You know, Galaxy S23 Ultra, Xiaomi 13 Pro, Oppo Find N2 Flip, Oppo Find X6 Pro. There's going to be a lot of phones coming and I'm going to have access to all of them. So stay tuned to this channel if you want up to date with all the latest on flagship phones and also camera comparisons. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.